I mean, I grew up in an environment where like the expectation was that you helped people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we had plenty, we had more than enough. We were safe and secure and had everything we needed. And my upbringing was such that like you needed to get out and do something for
Right.
somebody. And whether that is be friendly on a Tuesday or, have a resource that somebody else doesn't have and share that resource, time, money, energy, whatever that was, like that was kind of how we rolled growing
Right.
up. So it's easy for me to see something that needs to be done and then try and figure out, like, do I have the resources to help with that? Because I got a lot of practice, I think, growing
Gotcha.
up in that household. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember some nights at your house when we were growing up. So that's led us to where we're at today and what we're talking about. But just tell me a little bit about what you guys are doing right now.
So we are starting a chapter of Sleep in Heavenly Peace for the Lebanon area. Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a national organization that started about 15 years ago in Idaho.
Okay.
And they now have over 300 chapters across the country.
Right.
So we are starting a chapter here with the sole purpose of building and delivering beds to kids who don't have beds.
Right.
So if you're a kiddo between the ages of 3 and 17, we want you to be sleeping in your own bed.
What's the slogan is?
No kid sleeps on the floor in our town.
How many? Like
The national average is between 2 and 3% of kids 2 and 3% of the people in any population are the number of kids who don't have their own bed.
Right.
So if you take those numbers, that's about 1,200 kids in Laclede County who don't sleep in their own bed.
Wow.
My kind of gut feeling is that our percentage is a little higher than that,
Right.
just given like the socioeconomic factors that play into that. They say in rural areas in the Midwest, the percentage can be as high as 5%. So
That's again, like you talked about, like I've been very fortunate in my life and we run in circles of people who are like that and everyone's trying to find different ways. So like, how did you get to that point? Like at what point were you like, hey, I want to build beds?
Right. I first heard about the organization. We live in the county and I get the Electric Co-op magazine and I'm kind of a nerd and read those things almost not every month, but anyway. And there was an article in there about the Marshfield chapter. They had received a grant from their electric co-op, so they did like a 2-page piece on the Marshfield chapter, and they were having a build day in a few months. And so I organized a group of teenagers to go and be a part of the build day. Right. And it is just such an amazing organization, super organized, super passionate people. About getting that work done. And so that was about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And they approached me at that time and said, hey, Lebanon doesn't have a chapter and we could really use a chapter in Lebanon. And my kids were in high school and I was like, I don't have time for that. Like, that's not what I'm into. Thank you very much. But it kind of just niggled. And because I went to one build day, I was always getting the emails for the next build day. And so in November of last year, I got another group organized to go to another Marshfield build day. And the guy approached me again, the president of the Marshfield chapter, and he was like, we still don't have one in Lebanon. And my girls are out of the house now. Right. And I had some energy to spare. So I thought, well, I'll look into it and just see. And then the more I looked into it, just the better the organization was. The application was something I felt like I could handle, right? Like as you read through what that entailed. So we got started just after the first of the year.
So you're turning into your father.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
All of that to say,
right.
you are now your father. Awesome.
Right.
Well, so where? So I was waiting because I'm like, we talked about it before, and I knew we were going to get to that point. So you guys are actively are you a chapter yet?
Yes, we just last weekend kind of checked the last box to be an active chapter for Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So we completed a practice build day. So just our board, they call it a core team. We got together with our spouses, and we have like a regional coordinator who's from Kansas City. She came down and we built 8 beds last Sunday.
Saw those pictures.
Yeah, she checked off on all of the processes, and we have everything in place that we need to get going. So
how does I don't want to get too far into that, but how does, like, I would assume in an organization like this or something like this, and probably because I'm naive to a certain extent, but like it's just building beds. But it sounds like you mentioned it, it's a very organized, and so like they're checking for safety, that sort of thing. Are you guys building them to like certain specifications? Is that how that works?
Absolutely. So I am a girl who loves a system. If you give me a system, I would like to be a part of it.
So you read directions.
Yeah. Also a very Scott Shoemate thing to me. But,
Message.
So they have a build process. It's an assembly line where you start at one end. They have it all mapped out. They have all the stations. Certain tools, certain processes. Our goal is to involve as many people as possible. So it's not the most efficient building process, but it is a process that allows lots and lots and lots of people to get involved. One of the build days I went to in Marshfield, the youngest volunteer was 7. The oldest volunteer was 95.
Okay.
So really there's a spot for everybody in that build process. And then that build process spits out the exact same bed every time. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then those beds can either be single beds or they can be bunked depending on what the family wants.
Yeah, because I saw in one of the posts it was like $300 for a single, I believe.
Right.
Help me explain. You don't go buy one for $300. It costs roughly $300.
Absolutely. So if we were to buy all the supplies, the wood, the hardware, the mattress, the sheets, the pillow, all of that comes with the bed. When someone requests a bed and we deliver that bed to their house, it's not just the frame of the bed. It's a mattress. It's a mattress cover. It's a sheet set.
Pillows,
it's
all
the things. Yeah, right. Like that night, that kiddo sleeps in their own bed, ready to go. And so the cost of all of that, if we were to go out and buy it, is about $300 a bed. So when we talk about like sponsoring build days, or if you wanted to say, hey, I want to sponsor a bed, that would be about $300.
Gotcha. And then so in the timeline of things, you guys had your final practice build day, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
In comparing yourselves to Marshfield or other similar chapters, like what is the goal yearly? Like, is this not how many beds you're going to build, how many build days will you have a year?
Right now we have a plan to have a build day quarterly.
Okay.
So we'll have our first big community build day before the end of this year. Hopefully in like late October, early November. And then the goal would be quarterly in 2026 to host a build day. We have kind of a minimum build day setup of 20 beds for the community, just so that we have enough jobs for as many people as we hope to have come. And so that is about $6,000 every time we need to have a build day. So it'll depend on fundraising and things like that. But the goal would be to build, 80 to 100 beds a year, probably. The big deal, too, is getting them delivered. So we have, hopefully, volunteers who feel called to help us deliver those beds, too.
Gotcha.
So it's not just about the building, but actually getting them out to the kiddos.
On some of these build days that you've seen in other chapters, like how many people are in, like in a Marshfield build day? I know the last build day you guys had was like 8 or 10 roughly. You mentioned husbands and wives or families, but like on a normal build day, is it 20, 30 people? Like what's the goal on that?
Marshfield, the last Marshfield build day I went to, we built 50 beds in about 2.5 hours with about 70 volunteers.
Okay.
And like I said, there's jobs for everybody. That little 7-year-old was in charge of taking sanded boards to the next station. So after they were sanded, he would pick them up and take them to where they went next. And then he was kind of quality control on the sanding. He kept bringing back my boards and being like, this isn't up to snuff. And so I would have to do the little piece that he found that was a
You
little
gotta get
rough.
better
So
at
I
that.
know. I'm working on my
How'd
sanding
it go?
technique.
How did it go last week? Were
It
you
was okay. We had 0 7-year-olds, so I think it was. I think it was fine. They did bring a few of my boards back, but less this time.
less
So
this time?
yeah, yeah.
So we had our first build day, and fortunately, you guys did it correctly.
Right.
So they all passed, right?
Right. Yes, flying colors, I think.
How does someone, and we're kind of jumping all over here, but I want to get as much information as we can. Like, okay, so you guys built some beds. Like, how does a family, a parent, a guardian, like, do you guys go out asking for folks who need beds, or is this like a special request? Like, how does that work?
So we have an online application for bed for bed requests. Right now, for our Lebanon chapter, those applications aren't open. We hope to have them open by September the 1st. We need to get some delivery people lined up. We need to get, we've made 8 beds, but we need 8 mattresses and 8 sheet sets, and before we're able to deliver that. Our goal is that when people apply, we get them a bed relatively quickly. So we haven't opened applications yet because we don't want people to apply and then have to wait. So it's an online application. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a link that you follow. And then there's a short vetting process. Mostly it's just getting your address, letting you know kind of the process of delivery, make sure the room's cleaned out, that kind of stuff. And so we hope to have those applications open by the 1st of September.
What's the, like, in restaurants, they call it like a par level. They keep X amount of hamburgers ready to cook. How many beds are you guys hoping to kind of backlog to then start that process?
The reason we're opening applications the 1st of September is because we are doing a small build day just on our own in September, where we hope to build about 20 beds. So that would put us at about 25, 30 beds in storage, ready to go. From what we understand from other chapters who have started in areas that don't have a chapter, is that at first there's quite a lot of applications, right? People haven't had the opportunity to get a bed, and now there is an opportunity to get a bed. So I don't know if the restaurant analogy works. Like, a new restaurant in town is going to have to par level a little more on the first few nights.
First thing we could think of.
To get that. So we want to have plenty of beds and plenty of mattresses and plenty of bedding sets in place, so when we first open, those families feel like we're getting them beds in a timely manner.
What's the response? I know you guys did like an Amazon wish list thing, and then I saw a picture and it looked like overwhelming. But tell me a little bit about how this community has kind of came together and how that's been.
We have had nothing but amazing support. We did an Amazon wish list for items like mattresses and boxes and beds and bags and all of those things during Prime Days. We have a stack of stuff living at my sister's house, waiting to go out. So we do have, I think we have 6 or 8 beds in a bag. We have 6 or 8 mattresses waiting there as well. And then those keep kind of trickling in. That link is still active, even though it's not Prime Days anymore. And so those things keep kind of trickling in week over week. We've been to a couple of the civic clubs to talk about. We've been to Optimist. We've been to Kiwanis. We've got some more of those lined up in the future, and people have just been overwhelmingly supportive. I think the idea of child bedlessness is something not everybody understands, but everybody can appreciate that having a bed is a big deal. That having your own spot to fall asleep at night is important for lots of reasons.
Well, I think we're always quick to jump to shoes and coats and backpacks and that sort of thing. But like, you don't, until you dive in, or you're maybe in a home or something like that, you don't like understand that impact. So then when I first saw like the first thing, I was like, that's where it kind of opened my eyes to, that's something that you've never really considered, because you just assume, you assume a couch, a bed, a bunk bed, share a bed, but then when you look at it, you can understand that that's a huge need. And it's pretty cool that you guys have came together and found it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a lot like there's a lot of things that affect kiddos that they don't have any control over. You
Right.
know, like most of the life of a kiddo is decided by somebody else, you
Mhm.
know. And so there's lots and lots of ways that a backpack is super helpful. That new shoes, absolutely amazing. Like everybody needs some good shoes. Everybody needs a backpack. Everybody needs a coat, but everybody needs a bed.
Right.
A bed too. You
It's
know.
probably like last on the list. Not, and
Yeah.
I don't mean that negatively. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
when you're thinking about
Right.
back to school, or you're thinking about the holidays, or those, the Easter Bunny, and the things that all these organizations that we see are doing amazing things. Like,
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
we're very fortunate here, but like I never would have put beds on there. It's
Right.
just, it's kind of an assumable, I guess, is
Well, and it's a little more hidden, right? Like,
right.
you can be at school and somebody noticed that maybe a new pair of shoes would be a great thing for you. You can be at school and think, oh, maybe that coat, isn't as warm as it could be. Maybe we ought to see about getting a new coat. But unless you're really talking to families and hearing from kiddos, and honestly, some kiddos have never known anything different, so they don't
What
even
it's
know
like.
to tell you that they don't have a bed at home because they've never had a bed at home.
Right.
So it's not an anomaly to them. It's not something that they need to work on because that's not something that anybody has at their house.
How are you guys? You mentioned the Amazon wish list, but like, what are some other fundraising ways or things that you guys are doing, or how could the community help?
Sure. We did the Amazon wish list. We also are always looking for just cash donations. Some companies here in town have already reached out to us about that. Independent Stave gifted us a generous donation. Ed Morrison St. Robert gifted us a generous donation. Companies or individuals or groups can sponsor a build day. And so that looks like saying, hey, we want to provide the money to build 20 beds. We can do that in your parking lot as a business. We can find a spot to do that. You can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you want. If you're sponsoring a build, you can have your employees come and be the volunteers at that build. Or you can just say, hey, we just want to make this happen. You guys run with it.
Right.
So we don't do like big, we don't do raffles. We don't do anything like that. We just kind of rely on doing good work and hoping people want to support that good work.
Well, it sounds like you've had some tremendous
Absolutely.
support.
Yeah.
I know that's one common theme as we've grown and as we've looked into these different things. Like this community always rallies.
Yes, absolutely.
So with that being said, how many sounds like a riddle. How many beds will you build? What's your goal for 2026?
For 2026.
Not the organization's goal. I want Sarah's goal.
Oh, well, my goal for the rest of 2025, let's start
Fair.
there, is to build 60 beds before the end of the year, and then to have between like 40 and 50 of them delivered before Christmas.
Okay.
Like that would be my goal. For 2026, I hope to be in every school. So like we have some folks on our board who work at the school. We have Tracy Millsap, she's the director of nursing. Heidi Conti and Jacob Thomas are both counselors in the school district. They all serve on our board. So we hope to be in every school district that interacts with Lebanon. So somebody at Jolie Barber knows about us and knows how to get those applications out. All the schools in Lebanon know about us and know how to get those applications out. And then, if we're delivering beds 3 or 4 times a month, I think that would be great.
Right.
If we are steady streaming that enough and we have enough volunteers and enough availability in their lives to deliver most weeks, at least a few beds, I think that would be a huge success for 2026.
Not to make a pun here, but
I'm ready.
You have some lofty goals. And beds
Okay.
aloft.
That was bad.
That was
bad.
Terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
No, I'm really excited because I have followed, 2 or 3 months ago, started seeing something, and then of course full circle last weekend, seeing the posts and seeing the people in there. Before we go, like, give me one something that you've learned through this, or much like I said, you don't think about beds, but like what's something else that's kind of been an aha moment or a light bulb moment? Because I know you traveled to Utah and learned some things there. So like kind of just give me something that's a little different that you didn't expect.
I mean, I am always in awe of how, when given an opportunity, people want to help.
Right.
You know, when the problem is made known, people jump in. We have had nothing but a positive response to another organization wanting to do another thing in the community. You know, we have a great nonprofit community in Lebanon, right? There are lots and lots and lots of people doing lots and lots and lots of good work. And so the worry is always, oh, are we one more ask? Are we one more thing? But the community's capacity to just, yes, we will do that. Yes, we will help you with that. Yes, this is a need that our babies have. Yes, this is a need our community has. Is just, I mean, I could, it gives me goosebumps.
It's pretty cool to live in a community like that.
That there are people at every corner just saying, what do you need? What do you need? You know, the civic clubs have said, yes, come talk to us. And when we're there, people in those groups have said, hey, if you need one of these things, or hey, if you need one of those things, let me know. And so I think an everyday reminder that people are good, that there are good people in the world willing to do good work, is just a real joy in my life, because you can believe that there are not good people in the world. You know, you can believe that there are really only pretty terrible people in the world.
Right.
And when you get kind of involved in something, good, that goodness is so evident, and I just love it. I just love people, man. Love them to death.
Well, it's ironic. It's Shark Week right now, and last night we were watching Shark Week, and it was something about Shark Storm or something, whatever. But it was all about a few summers ago. There was a bunch of shark attacks, and it was the victims, and they were talking, and one lady got mauled by this shark. But they're showing all of these body cam footage from first responders, cell phone footage from people. And this lady, they tell the whole story, and it gets to the end, and the lady, she survived, and she's sitting there, and she said exactly what you said. And watching the show, I was like, look at all these people helping. And there, you know, there's a victim, this lady laying on a beach, but there's 20 or 30 people asking EMTs what they can do. Right. EMT, and like we get so caught up in all of the crap,
right?
And all of the headlines and all of the drama and the posts, but like that, hearing you say that, and she said the exact same thing on this TV show, and but it's a microcosm, and I think for me, how those things kind of, it funnels down to, we see Lebanon as this, or our community as this, but then like there's so much that we're alike so many other places and that sort of thing. So that's a long story about Shark Week, but my point of that is the exact same thing was said. And I think much like we don't see beds as the top priority, you know, I've never seen a piece of paper that says, do they have a coat? Do they have shoes? Do they have socks? Do they have a bed? Like that's never been on there, and it's nothing I've ever considered. But this community, you put it in front of them. They don't know what they don't know. So as you tell them and teach them and get the word out and expose, for lack of a better term, they show up.
Absolutely. They show up, and there's a million ways to show up, you know, with us or with anybody else doing good work, but we're excited to get people involved in this, and excited to get kids in beds.
So I don't even think I did this earlier, but you're Sarah Johnson, by the way. I
am Sarah Johnson.
Sarah
that is
Johnson.
True. That is true.
Sleep in heavenly peace in Lebanon.
Yes.
How can they find your organization, whether social media, internet, email?
Sure. We are on Facebook. We have a Mo-Lebanon page on Facebook. You can go to the national page and find us there, or you can find us on our own page on Facebook. And then we have a website through the national page, which is shpbeds.org. That'll geolocate you to our zip code and should bring you to our local page. So you can find out all that information there. There's ways to donate online. You can check out and see who's on our board. You can kind of see what we've been up to.
You use geolocate. You're gonna
I know, it's a brand new word for me. I used it, and I know
some people.
I know. I know.
Big Brother's watching.
You can also just put in your zip code. Yes, that's also fine. Yes, you can put in any zip code you want.
Well,
but we hope you put in ours.
All right. Well, thank you.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
This has been fun.
Yes.
We started off talking about your father and your mom and memories, and ended up talking about some really cool things, and kind of having much like you said, that goosebump moment. And then for me, like the full circle of just last night and hearing what you guys are doing. I'm excited to help spread the word and get your information out there. It's a really cool organization.
Yeah, this has been great. This has been so good, and we hope that people reach out. I mean, really, no amount of energy is too little an amount of energy. So whatever resource you've got to give, we would like to put it to work.
I've got a 5, soon to be 6-year-old that loves crafting, and
Yes.
she might be your new sanding.
She can be my sanding supervisor. Yes,
she would love it because it has a name.
Yeah.
She would be all about it.
We'll get her a badge. It'll be the whole thing. Yeah.
Can I leave though? Because you guys will
No,
be
you
mad
have
at
to
me
stay.
for bringing her.
You have to stay. Yeah, we'll put you on like the drill press or something else. We'll keep you out of sanding. I feel like that might be too much
Keep me
family
on the
drama.
opposite end of wherever she is, and I'll let you guys see what we deal with every day. So,
Yeah, we'll get her a
awesome.
name tag. We'll call it good.
Well,
So.
I wish you guys continued success, and
Thank you.
and I'm
you.
excited to see something different and new, but also something that can really be a viable thing for this community and these kids.
Yep, I think it's going to be really good. So we
Awesome.
look forward to just keeping on.
So go to your website, go to the
shpbeds.org.
and then get geolocated.
No, just put your zip code in. Just put your zip code in.
All right. Well, Sarah, thank you very much.
Yes,
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.